someone must know. If there's enough smart people, they should be investigating this. I'm like, what does Elon know? What do other people know? Like, some people speculate that the reason for such brazen, poor behavior involving spending with the government and the economy and the U.S. dollar and all these things like that. Some speculate, it's totally conspiracy, that like the powers that be know something's coming, and so they're just going to keep things going until then. Because the way things are being run, it makes no sense. Like,
the World Economic Forum is taking place right now at Davos, and Klaus Schwab and George Soros just pulled out of it.
They did.
What do you make of that?
They went to the bunker.
Yeah. They're digging some pretty big holes in Colorado, and there's a lot of bunkers in New Zealand, too, that are owned by billionaires. So.
There's big holes in Colorado?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's also the Cheyenne Mountain, and that's where all like the nuclear command is and stuff. And they've been... From sources unknown, I can also tell you that at some point I've eyeballed this like an RFP, request for proposal, for people to develop basically drone systems. You know that the movie Prometheus, where they threw the drones up in the internet channels? There was an RFP for people to develop tech like that because the government was interesting. The premise was that they wanted to be able to fight in underground cities.
Fight?
Yeah, like as in for the military. We want to be able to map terrain and have these drones that can navigate in underground space without GPS and map the environment, because it's the combat situation was fighting in underground cities.
Because there's going to be a small population of marauding people, and there's very little resources, and a small number of humans left alive, and civilization will be thrown into chaos.
Right.
Fun.
Yeah,
fun.
a lot of a good time.
So much fun. But let's argue about what gender you should use the restroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure there's people that are exploring that premise, man. They have to be, I think.
Smart people, top men, as they call it. They must be looking into it. And so, like I brought up on the first time I was on with you, and then Graham Hancock had a whole episode on it, the Cappadocia, underground cities. There's many of them, and a lot of them can support tens of thousands of people. That almost, to me, looks like a doomsday bunker, like an ark of some kind. Like they could house farm animals. They connect to underground rivers that are 15 stories down. This was sophisticated, and I'm like,
there's underground rivers that are 15 stories down?
Yeah, they dug right to them. And here's something else. They say that there's zero evidence of any type of cave-ins. So whoever carved this out of the limestone in there, this was sophisticated. Like, they did so in a way that it didn't collapse in on itself, and they also must have known that it reached a freshwater source of water down below.
So as long as it doesn't get hit directly,
right,
which you can never predict.
Yeah, you'd be screwed.
Yeah,
which is where I'd want to be if it happens.
This is wild.
Have it land on me.
Yeah. Look at there's pictures that show images of it like underground.
Yeah, we've seen those before when Graham and Randall were on last. We talked about these, and that they'd probably use these for short periods of time, right post impact, before they came back to the surface again. So they weathered the storm and then came back above, and that they had gotten accustomed to this, which is just really wild, man. So this is in Colorado. They're all over the place.
Jamie, you should Google the Cheyenne bunker system.
Do you want to live, though? If everything goes sideways, completely back to caveman life, do you really want to make it through that?
Yes, I've seen enough television shows and movies to know that it's a lot of fun. I'm a prepper. I have my things in place to be safe, and I would, if shit really hit the fan, I'd want to look after those who are still around. Like, I don't know, maybe it'd be miserable and I'd be eaten alive by cannibals.
How many bullets do you have saved up?
I won't answer that. Ask me after the program. Plenty.
Okay.
Plenty. I was a soldier. All right, so you need thousands. Because
you need a lot.
You need a lot.
Thousands. Because people don't realize, they hear like, 1,000 rounds, that's scary. Like, if you're just doing target practicing, you can go through 100 rounds in minutes. So you would need a bunch, and you'd want a variety of calibers, and you'd want a bunch of each one of those calibers, because if you get to a point where you run low, you want to be able to go scavenging, and you would want a variety of weapons that can house different calibers. You'd want a shotgun, you'd want the 5.56, you'd want probably a 9mm because it's the most abundant, and Ruger 1022 long rifle, you'd want it all.
Yeah.
The people coming at you, though, too, that's the thing. Like, I've got a few acres, and you run through the scenarios and stuff like that. The people that are going to come at you from the cities and from those desolate areas, like, they're the winners of that competition. They're going to be the most savage, crazy MFers that have been eating everybody else and taking all their shit.
Fun.
So you just got to be...
And then how long before we start figuring out phones again after that?